So, incredible conversation there, but we're going to shift gears and move into our pitch session. How many of you all are excited about that? This is really going to be an opportunity for us to see how much and how thoughtfully and wisely someone can pack content and an introduction to a new idea into 60 seconds. So I'm going to go ahead and invite up our judges. We're going to have a panel of about 5 different judges. And what's important for you all to know here is, contrary to how we've done it in the past, the way we're approaching the pitch experience today is that we're not going to pick one winner, because I think we've learned, at least in the last 5 weeks or so, that it's more important that we rally around one another as a collective as opposed to singling one individual out. And so what we're going to try and do here is create a space for several individuals to pitch their ideas over 60 seconds. When they hit 60 seconds, there's going to be some music that chimes in, kind of Oscar style, to make them step back and cede the microphone over to the next person that's going to present. But they're going to present those ideas to 5 different judges, and those judges are then going to have some time to ask questions of the pitch presenters, so that we can have a little bit more collective conversation around how we support one another, regardless of what stage your pitch idea or concept might be in. So let's go ahead and invite up our judges. First off, we have Eileen Lee, who is a VC at Cowboy Ventures. Next up, we have Shihiroz Charania, apologies if I mispronounced that, from Women 2.0. And additionally, we have Mina Harris, who is the founder of I'm an Entrepreneur Bitch. That's right. Angelica Ross, who of course is the founder of Trans Tech, and Nate Weiger, who is coming from Amazon Fresh. All right, we got all of our judges. And again, time is going to be really sensitive, so we're going to hold our applause until the very end to give it to everyone collectively. Let's go ahead and have our pitch finalists come on up. Join us up here on stage, everyone all at once. Give them a round of applause just to start. There we go. Apologies. So they're all going to join. Because when you have people standing next to you, you realize that time is in fact sensitive. And we're making room so that everyone fits here on the stage in 60 seconds. So hold your applause until the very, very end. Y'all ready? All right, let's do this. Make sure we got everyone on the stage. Judges, are y'all ready? Yeah. All right.
Yes.
Yes, comments at the end once everyone's gone through their pitch. All right, so we're going to go ahead and kick things off with Uma. Uma, you ready? You're good in 60 seconds.
Okay, yes. Hi, I'm Uma Lerner, a psychiatrist specializing in women's mental health. This election and its results made clear how divided our country is, and that we are self-segregated into geographic bubbles. This makes me very sad. I believe in diverse community as an essential component of personal wellness. This project, which you can find on www.dividednomore.org and soon on Kickstarter, helps to bridge that divide. Skype conversations moderated by a board-certified psychiatrist who believes in the power of people really listening to each other to be able to make change. My priority is bridging the geographic divide between the coast and the heartland. But my hope would be that we could also work to bridge the divide between political orientations. I am looking for people who are interested in participating in a conversation. I orient all the participants to the values held by this project, and I moderate the conversation to make sure that it is a safe space for all. Please go to www.dividednomore.org to learn more and contact me.
Who here rides a bus? Yeah, and who's waited 20 minutes and 2 buses come? That's bus bunching, and it's the worst. And who's thought, can't they just make it work? Can't they space them out? Well, no. I worked for a transit agency, and their cutting edge is a little map of buses. I'm Ellie, I'm an engineer, and I want to build a system that automatically spaces out every bus. First, compute where buses are. Next, compute where they should be for ideal spacing. Then, send instructions to bus drivers on how to make that happen. All automated. Bunching is fixed soon as it starts. Spacing algorithms already exist, and sending locations and messages, that's just an app. Really? I just need focus time and some AWS. No more bus bunching.
Across the globe, countless organizers are doing amazing work to affect their communities. This work could be incredibly supported by technical support and solutions. We have access to these networks and communities, so let's build a platform to connect engineers, product managers, tech workers, and other skilled folks with organizers who are already embedded in their communities doing the good work. I have a roommate, Andrew, who's a computer genius, and he has a really big heart, but spends most of his day behind the computer, and even though he's learning social justice stuff, could not take the lead on a solution for something. My friend Nicole lives over in Oakland, and she's a badass organizer doing anti-racist work there. She's been trying to create a database for months of her volunteers. By connecting through me, I can have Andrew create this database in a jiffy. It's super easy for him, and Nicole can have her work amplified. Let's work to create those connections and have folks like Andrew be part of the rhizome for grassroots organizing that independent folks like Nicole are doing. Thank you.
Hi, I'm Cassie. Overly expensive clinical trials reduce all of our medical options. 2 ideas to fix this. Firstly, almost $7 billion a year are wasted on paper processes to monitor clinical trial data quality. My startup, Invio, has created a web application to replace this, and using computer vision and machine learning, we can take back that $7 billion, save it, and actually improve the data quality of the trial. Secondly, 80% of clinical trials run over schedule and therefore behind budget. And the number one reason for this is not enough people are signing up for clinical trials. Ironically, queer people, people of color, and women are drastically underrepresented in clinical trials. So my challenge to everyone here today is make it a bucket list item for you, at least once in your life, participate in a clinical trial. Thank you.
All right, so trying to influence the government can be really frustrating. And I know we've all been focused on the executive branch recently, but I actually want to talk about something else, federal regulations. Not that sexy, I know, but they're important. They're everything from can you talk on your phone on the plane to how clean should the water in the baby. Now, it's really hard for an ordinary person to sift through the 100-page documents and figure out which regulations are important to us. And that's a real shame, because I've talked to people who work for these agencies. They want our help shaping the policies that will impact our lives. What if it were easy? Well, thanks to some people who we heard from this morning, there is a website, regulations.gov, what up, where you can leave your feedback on new regulations. Unfortunately, it's still really hard to use. And this is where we tech nerds can make an impact. I've got a team of engineers, and we've been able to use text processing to make it easier to search for and comment on new regulations. You know, I'm an engineer, I love moonshots as much as the next engineer, but now, especially in the last month, I think we need to be reinforcing the democratic institutions that we've already built and making it possible for everyone to influence their government. Thanks.
Hi, I'm Lynn. Kids today are socially aware digital natives whose understanding of tech is more advanced than we've ever seen. To foster early exposure to computer science, I proposed a monthly subscription box service and web app, CodeCube, with socially aware curriculum, tangible items, and DIY projects created by the developer community. All of you. The subscription box would include an online component that plays like an MMO. Quests given to complete coding projects follow a progressive learning path, and the contents of the Code Cube includes loot and code puzzles to progress the online character. Kids can connect with others and share their portfolio online, including projects they've built. This idea stems from observing my children as digital natives who have a natural interest in both computers and video games. Obviously, which kid doesn't? With your help, I'd like to take CodeCube from ideation to prototype and to put the power to create in our kids' hands and to watch them have a kick-ass time doing it. Thank you for your consideration.
Hi everyone, my name is Megan Zori from Tech Stands Up. Tech Stands Up was formed with 3 purposes in mind: to urge our tech leaders to stand up and speak out against the current administration's policies, to connect tech workers with nonprofits that need their skill sets, and to bridge the divide between the tech community and people whose lives have been disrupted as a result of the rapidly advancing technologies that we create. Our inaugural event takes place on Pi Day, March 14th at Palo Alto City Hall. We already have 12,000 people who are interested in attending. The event will feature speakers including prominent tech CEOs, nonprofit leaders, and local politicians. Additionally, we're welcoming nonprofits to host free information booths in the hopes that they'll gain visibility and volunteers from within the tech community. We hope that this will be the first in a long line of events engaging the tech community and motivating us to donate our talents and give back. In fact, we've already partnered with the Women's March to host a hackathon in early April. If you'd like to learn more, please visit techstandsup.org. Thank you for your time, and I hope we can all stand up and fight back.
Hi, I'm Jen Lundquist, and 2 days after the election, I had a Facebook group abdicated to me, and I became one of the lead admins for a group in the North Texas DFW area called Pantsuit Republic, an offshoot of Pantsuit Nation that actually wants to be politically active. During the Women's March, we had a Women's March in Austin, and there was a desperate Facebook message from one of our members who said, "We have someone who hasn't on our bus to come back, and we need to find her." I delved into Facebook, spent about 2 or 3 hours trying to hunt this woman down, and then also trying to find a ride back for her the next day. So what I'm proposing is an app that is secure, that is uses an ad hoc network that allows people to check in securely to an event, and then also monitor them to make sure they've all checked out, and also, if they haven't checked out, to follow up in their emergency contact list and try and hunt them down.
Hi guys, my name is Mingju, and I am building a breast pump that doesn't suck. More accurately, one that sucks better. If you're a mom out there, then you don't need me to tell you how painful, cumbersome, noisy they are, and how they kind of make you feel like a cow. It's the top complaint in most mommy communities, and what we're doing actually is building a wearable, programmable, hands-free, pain-free, noise-free device that beats, say, the common product on the market has instructions that say, crank up until you feel pain, then dial back a little bit. That's not acceptable, and that's why we are hoping to disrupt this $1.5 billion industry with technology that just needs to happen. And my company is called Nectar, and we believe that nurturing a new life deserves a little more respect than, well, that's how they do it for cows. So, thank you.
Imagine a world where you can go anywhere at any time without ever leaving your couch. This is the future of virtual reality. But there's one problem getting there: parallax, which causes major misalignment in wide-angle images. It's been deemed impossible to solve, so companies today rely on stitching images together. But stitching really, really sucks. 1 minute of high-resolution film takes 7 hours to stitch, making VR content creation incredibly difficult. Or is it? I'm Suma, the COO and founding team member of Circle Optics. I'm very excited today to introduce the world's first 360-degree camera that allows VR content to be created in the blink of an eye. Our seamless 360 will revolutionize film, self-driving cars, drones, and much, much more. Join us as we reinvent the future.
You guys can hold on. So we're going to make some time for questions from our judges. We have 5 minutes, about 5-6 minutes on the clock for our judges to ask questions, and they will pepper it throughout all of the pitches that have been made. So pass the mic.
I have the mic, so I'll start. Number 9, breast pump.
That's me.
So tell me a little bit about the price point that you have for this, and are there any options for you to think about a recurring business model after you're done breastfeeding? Because once we're done, we're done.
Exactly. So in terms of recurring business, for the duration of pumping, which is about 1 year to 2 years for most mothers, or at least that's what's recommended, we do have kind of add-ons and disposable pieces that will need to be replenished, and we'll work off of a referral program because, as you know, it's just because one person is done being a mom for that time of their life, they usually know another person. So the lifetime value is more the referral and the good experience that they can pass on to their friends and their children.
Maybe a related question to number 6, Code Cube. Hi. A little bit more about how much you think the product will cost and whether you think people will pay for it monthly or how you're thinking about the price point and the market size.
Absolutely. So I am thinking between $10 and $40 a month. 10 for low-income families, 40 for those who can afford. They would include varying levels of loot in the crate that would come to your house each month, and in the online access. So the access would be tiered based upon the price point that is selected. Does that answer your question, I hope? Awesome, thank you.
I have a question for any of you. First of all, these were all wonderful. I loved all of them. And across each of the presentations or pitches, the first thing that came to mind was sort of thinking about how each of you think of sort of the intersection of social justice, racial justice with your product. So like thinking about things like the federal regulations, I thought that was amazing, and being able to access that and what you might have thought about how having a lens for social and racial justice might affect that. And really that question is for any of your products.
Sure. I mean, quickly on the regulations, I think one way that the lens affects it is that, you know, we're all technologists in the Bay Area, but and so, you know, it's easy for me to think about internet access and internet interfaces, but I actually, from a more intersectional lens, don't think that's a complete answer to the question. You know, even in San Francisco, I think it's only 70% of households that have high-speed internet at home. So I think maintaining a lens that keeps us aware of the level of access that people have to technology is very important as we're developing these kind of technological governance solutions.
So I talked about bus bunching, and I think that reliable bus service is absolutely a social, racial, economic, every kind of justice issue. It's what allows people to get to their jobs, their homes, go visit their friend in the hospital, just go out at night. There's a study that came out a few years ago that showed that regions that have better transit have a lot more social mobility. So making buses reliable and accessible and a feasible option is essential, really.
It's a good question.
It's a good question. I'm excited about this one. So one weird thing about clinical trials being too expensive is whether a medical innovation that exists goes to market is based on whether the company decides to push it through the expensive process of clinical trials. And the ones that get dropped are the treatments that are for smaller patient populations or those with acute conditions. So they end up with fewer choices because they're deemed not profitable. So it's very important for us to lower the cost of clinical trials and stop relying on silly things like paper to get this job done. Like, this is science. It should be at the cutting edge, and we can do better for everyone.
I think, so for us, social justice is really important. That's part of my background. And in terms of VR content creation, I think it gives a lens into all types of environments which we wouldn't be able to experience. I was just speaking to a content creator who did a 360 shoot in a homeless shelter, for example. So that has worldwide applications. I mean, we've seen what Twitter did in terms of, you know, the Middle Eastern revolutions. And yeah, so it's important, and I think even with self-driving cars and being in safety for that, and drones and lowering the cost of search and rescue options, there's a lot of things to do there.
So what I'm hoping to do is I would like to see something where we enable people to feel comfortable and safe and be politically active. Right? We want people to go to events. And you see all these lists of, don't do these when you go to events. Don't do this. Don't lock your phone with a password. Don't aggravate. Don't, all these things that you're not supposed to do. And what we want to do is we want to give people a place where they can not be concerned about that. Be able to go to an event and feel safe and feel like they're protected and people are watching out for them. I want them not to just to have a list of emergency contacts of people they know, but as you're walking around, as you're getting involved in rallies, in protests, in political events, that you're connecting with the people around you and the app is tracking that. And so when you move on, when you go missing, we know who you've been around. We can contact them and say, where were they last? What did you see? What's going on with them? We want to make sure we don't lose anybody.
So for me as a psychiatrist, I feel like happiness and community and well-being is a social justice issue, because unfortunately, people don't have equal access to mental health care. And unfortunately, it is people who are LGBTQ, people that are ethnic minorities, women, immigrants who have less access to mental health care. I also think, though, that being here is such an amazing experience for me, and I think for everyone. The atmosphere of inclusion, of community, of love, and that's a privilege that people all over America don't have. And I feel like my desire to kind of connect our community to the communities in the middle of America is a social justice issue, because I want everyone to feel what we get to feel here today.
I actually had a question for you. Oops, are we? Oh, darn.
Incredible job. This is an incredible group.
Many great questions that we have, and I think the best thing about this experience is the fact that the conversation doesn't have to end here. So we are all in this room for the rest of this day and hopefully connecting again tomorrow, and I would strongly encourage everyone that pitched, as well as folks out here who have ideas and are willing to help support and advance these concepts that have been presented, to connect. Because that's what we're here to do, is to build that community and also to continue the conversations with the judges. So if you all will join me in just giving everyone a round of applause. Huge props, huge props. It is not a small task to solicit, to bring an idea to the table and present it. So thank you all. As the judges and our pitch participants exit the stage, I'm gonna go ahead and transition us over to our next segment of the conversation. But let me just ask one quick question. How many of you all would love to see every single one of these ideas come full circle?